Hello and welcome to episode 39 of Next Gen Newsweek, your weekly podcast for all things PS5 and Xbox Series X and S and Nintendo Switch. My name is Mitch. Joining me tonight is Richard.
Hello.
And Michael.
Howdy.
The funniest man on the internet.
The funniest one.
Like, truly funny. And verify this man on Twitter. He's funny.
And adorable.
And adorable. Look at them Animal Crossing sheets. Or comforter. Like, he's still single.
Villager and Tom.
The only thing that can make it better is if he had a race car bed. But, I mean...
Right? Vroom, vroom, motherfuckers.
We have a very packed show this evening. With lots of headlines, lots of small stuff, and then we're going to wrap it up nice and together with a PlayStation Direct that happened today, which actually means we actually delayed recording a day because of that, and some BlizzCon news. So let's kind of just get in this and jump through these headlines, and if we have some things to add to it, cool, but a lot of it's not a lot of stuff you kind of just cling on to unless... I mean, maybe. I don't think it is, though. The first thing is that March 4th at 2 early in the damn morning, there's a Smash Ultimate presentation for Pyra and Mithra. It's going to be at 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern, or if you're where we live, it's 8 o'clock in the morning next Thursday. I'm going to try to get up and do a recording or something, but we'll see.
And when is that specifically?
6 a.m. Thanks, Michael. Oh, he's got the jokes today. He's got the jokes. There will be, at the end of this episode, you'll see a bonus section where Michael got Richard really good. Because I was already recording when that happened. I don't think they knew it.
Oh,
okay. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
The next thing, keeping with Nintendo, though, is that... So the only presentation we weren't able to get in this to be able to talk about this week because of when it's coming out is that tomorrow is Pokemon Day, which means that Pokemon has already came out and said that they're doing a big celebration for the 25th anniversary of Pokemon, and there's a lot of rumors about what game or games may be showing up at that event that were purposefully left out of last week's Nintendo Direct that they are keeping for this. The big one is the Diamond and Pearl remakes for the Switch. Michael, do you have anything that you think may be at this event that you'd like to see show up? Game-wise, movie-wise, TV-wise, anything? Merch-wise?
I don't know. I want to say usually with this event, they kind of do some weird movie tie-in sometimes. But with COVID going on, I'm not really sure if they have the resources to do that. But usually it's like some sort of weird lackluster film or like film inclusion or show inclusion where they're like say like, you know, if it is a Diamond Pearl remake that they're going to announce, they would have Dialga or Palkia, you know, in like one of the more recent episodes or something.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows?
I want to know more about Pokemon Sleep that they announced like 2 years ago. That little sleep tracker thing that helps you like catch Pokemon while you're sleeping, depending on how good of sleep you have. Do y'all remember that? Like,
I remember hearing about it. Yeah,
that's a thing. They also announced.
My dog. He sleeps all the time.
They also announced that they were remaking Detective Pikachu for the Switch, and then they were also working on a sequel for Detective Pikachu. So those have been dead quiet for 2 years now. We got Pokemon Snap in April. Richard, anything else you think? You're not the biggest
I'd
Pokemon
like
fan,
to,
but I mean...
I'm not. I came in a little late. I think a sequel to that movie would be pretty good. I don't know how well that went over, the Detective Pikachu.
Mm-hmm.
With Ryan Reynolds.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought it was solid. I mean, as in terms of, you know, the look and the feel and everything. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind a second film. As far as game go, I don't know. You know, I never really bought Pokemon games until I had kids. Pokemon took off. I was already a little bit older, so I missed it. But then I kind of got into it with Pokemon Go. And then since then, I've picked up a few titles. And, I mean, it's I like it, but the reason I like it is because of Pocket Mortys, the mobile game from. I mean,
Right.
that's what really made me go back and look at Pokemon again. So yeah, if it's a remake of Diamond and Pearl, I'd be down. I'd probably pick that up, not just for my kid.
Did you you and your kid ever play Pokemon Let's Go?
Oh yeah, yeah, we have that.
I think another rumor running around is there may be a new Let's Go game too, or maybe there's multiple games they show off, and one of them's Let's Go.
I mean,
Back to
Let's
that
Go's pretty
movie
much
idea,
a remake
though.
of the first one.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that movie idea. So what if second movie they have Jackie Chan in it? Because I think perfect actor for that type of film. Okay,
I would watch
and
it.
then into the movie, okay, tie in to Jackie Chan Adventures
Oh my God.
with the uncle and everything at the end of it, and then the Fox 4 Kids logo in the background.
You had me at Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan Adventures is one of the most underrated Fox TV shows of my childhood.
Man.
I would gladly
Yeah,
go back
I think
and
that'd be
watch that
really
again.
great.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan in the Pokemon universe.
He's just like Giovanni or something.
Right.
Moving away from Nintendo, we have a new update on everyone's favorite game to hate, Cyberpunk 2077. A few weeks ago, we kind of mentioned how they've suffered like a massive data breach. And because of that, somehow that data breach has delayed the latest update that's supposed to come out by a month and a half. So, or close to a month, I suppose. This is supposed to be like the major patch that fixes like everyone's problems that they have with the game, but somehow this security breach delayed it. Do you guys have any thoughts or opinions on this data breach affecting it?
I didn't read the article that you showed us in Discord, but what data breach?
They suffered some kind of it was a
Yeah.
massive data breach, and these people stole the source code for Cyberpunk and then
yeah,
The Witcher.
I do remember reading about that.
And then they sold it on the dark web for like $7 million.
Okay, that's the same article I'd read before. Okay.
So yeah, I just don't. I mean, I guess unless they're just putting like, excuse me, all of their resources into fixing their security or something. I just don't really understand how their development team and their network security team, how that's so intermingled that one of them, like them suffering this data leak is causing the delay of Cyberpunk's update. Like I don't get it.
Yeah, the hits just keep on coming for them. I don't. I'm not so sure if that'll ever appear on the PlayStation Store.
Well, I mean, I guess they have to. They're pushing it back because they don't want to create any other loopholes. If it is the source code for the game, it's not really just people are selling the game itself, like the base version of it. It's basically it's a compilation of all the build tools and everything else to make the game.
Yeah.
It's trade secrets for that company and any interlinked companies, so they want to make sure that whatever update they push is going to prioritize any loopholes that would come about from just that they would need to protect the company with.
Yeah. When we were talking about that data breach a few weeks ago, we mentioned how there's a possibility that they could sell that code to like companies in like China or something where they can make like bootleg versions of Cyberpunk and stuff like that. And then I read something, or I was talking to someone after that, and they said that there was something weird about the way that like because Cyberpunk uses the Red engine, which isn't an engine that's publicly available to developers to use. That is actually not a big possibility that they could actually manipulate that engine to make bootleg versions of it. Kind of like if it was running on like Unreal or.
If it's China, they could reverse engineer the engine, at least in a certain way.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still kind of curious where this is all going to go, but I mean, I'm done with Cyberpunk for now, so I mean, I'm not really affected by another update for Cyberpunk. I was able to work through the small bugs that I had to deal with. Nothing major like some people did, but I would like to go back to it one day once it's completely fixed, or fixed much more than it currently is. But And a really bad segue, speaking of things that aren't going to get fixed, Anthem
My relationship.
with Anthem is completely done. They've decided, EA has and BioWare have decided that they are not going to try to fix Anthem. It is done. And Michael's so sad. He bought so many copies of Anthem.
I know. I bought so many copies. And just like, I hate that this is like the second time I've like gotten hyped for a shooter, and I don't particularly like shooters, and it still just eats dust. First time was the first Destiny.
Yeah.
And that turned out into a huge cereal bowl of mushy crap, and now Anthem.
He doesn't have luck with first-person shooters or whatever game they're classified as. Yeah, first-person shooters. But yeah, they BioWare has ceased development of Anthem so they can completely focus on Mass Effect projects and Dragon Age 4. Which, unrelated, I saw another article I didn't put in here because it didn't make any sense to me about how Dragon Age 4 is going to be completely single player. Has Dragon Age had multiplayer in the past? Do y'all know of?
Not that I know of.
See, that's what I thought. And I was like, why go out of your way to make a headline saying Dragon Age 4 only has single player? Like,
well, I wonder, but in the previous, you controlled like a team of people, don't you?
I've never played one.
I wonder if that's what they mean. That instead of controlling a team of people, you're just going to control a singular character.
That's possible. Well,
that's just guesstimation. I don't know. Could be in complete bullshit.
Yeah.
But that would be my take.
Well, now that we've broken Michael's heart, let's jump over to Richard and break his heart.
Hold on though. It's not completely broken.
Let's kill everybody.
Get your garlic out, because Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 has been delayed out of 2021, and Hardsuit Labs, the developer behind that game, is no longer working on the game, which I believe is not the
really
first.
Strange.
Yeah, like I can't remember the name of their parent company that owns the rights to Vampire the Masquerade, but Hardsuit Labs no longer has anything to do with it. And Richard, your thoughts?
I don't, because I can go on for like hours and hours. I feel this isn't the first time I've seen this. There was actually, what you see behind Terraria, excuse me. There was a Terraria 2 that, not Terraria 2, they named it something differently. But it was in development.
Terraria.
It was in development for a while. To the point where they were showing footage of it, they had screens and everything, and then all of a sudden, like, they severed with the studio that was doing it, and it just completely went away. It was canceled. This isn't canceled, but they've gotten rid of this, the studio that's been developing it. I want to know what happens in these situations. How does it get so far along before you're like, this isn't working? And I mean, maybe it's just where, it's an industry thing that you wouldn't really understand unless you were there. But I don't understand that. I think that this has a lot to do with. I've been noticing this a lot more. The video game crowd, in general, not us, but I'm going to say probably the majority. I know I've been guilty of it too, to an extent.
Us, but you.
Well, you guys too, probably. Once I talk about it, you'll probably say, yeah. Okay. It's this gamer entitlement that I think, I think it was a big problem with Cyberpunk. I think it's a problem with Vampire. After looking at some of the message boards after the state of play today, it's just like absolutely nothing meets anybody's expectations anymore. It's like there's nothing positive that comes out. I feel like it's such a toxic community because gamers have this mindset that they're just entitled to the world. And I mean, granted, yeah, you are paying for a product and you want the best product and all this stuff. But I think the problem is that you're simply not going to please everyone. Go back to, Breath of the Wild that got like 10 out of 10, critically acclaimed. I'd throw that on a pile. And I know I'm in a minority, but I'm not alone. And I think some of these developers, they get so focused on creating this hype train, and then people get so invested, probably at like an unhealthy level, and the whole thing just becomes toxic. And then you got like Cyberpunk 2077, and maybe this is what happened with Vampire, Masquerade: The Bloodlines. They saw what they got so far, and it spooked them. They're like, this, we're gonna put this out, and where they're gonna CD Projekt Red us, So I don't know where we go from here. I don't necessarily blame game developers 100% anymore. I think that there's an aspect of just the gamer community that has become toxic over the past few years.
And do you know who the worst fans are among all of them?
Nintendo.
Nintendo fans are the absolute worst people when it comes to this crap. Like, I was listening to another podcast where all these people were talking about how bad that last Nintendo Direct was, and one of them made a comment, and he's like, I think people who get upset about Nintendo aren't Nintendo fans, they're Mario and Zelda fans. They're not Nintendo fans. Like, if they were Nintendo fans, they would be happy that all this other stuff comes about, but the other ones are like, man, I only got Splatoon 3. I didn't get my Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey 2. Like, he's like, just shut up. Like, you'll get them eventually. And like, right. And honestly,
that's a good point though. It really is.
And to even break that down more, the Smash community is the most entitled garbage on the planet. And I'm a member of the Smash community. There have been people on this show like Jason and Jonathan, Michael, David. We're all big Smash players. But like the people, like, especially if you collect that collective hive mind of people on Twitter, there's no pleasing them. They could be like, oh, here's this character that everybody wanted, and they're like, they'll find something to nitpick about it, like, well, this ain't so-and-so, and it's just like, shut up. Like, they're gonna do whoever they want to do, regardless of whether you hate the hot anime waifu twins, or if you hate Sephiroth, or if you hate Minecraft Steve, like I did at first. It's like, they don't care, because they already know they've made money off of you, so it doesn't really matter to them who they put in the game. But,
yeah, I was gonna say, if you don't like it, then don't invest towards it. Don't buy it.
Vote with your wallet.
It may not work if you're in the minority, but I mean that's one way.
Like, yeah, I think the last time I ever saw something big like this, especially like in Nintendo, was whenever it happens a lot, especially with all these Wii U ports to the Switch. But I think I guess it was 2019. In January, they released the Mario. New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe Edition, which was the Wii U version, and then 4 months later they dropped Super Mario Maker 2, and it's like you can make literally every level in New Super Mario Brothers U, but you can make them in Mario Maker. So why did they drop a game where you can make all the levels yourself?
Because that's work.
I mean, there's some passionate people out there, but they charge $60 for it, and it was in the top 20 best-selling Switch games as of like last year. So I don't know. Anyway, Vampire Masquerade's coming out sometime not in 2021. Somehow got
2023.
Somehow got to talking about Mario and Nintendo. Real quick, to no one's surprise, another game delayed. Gran Turismo 7. We knew nothing about it other than it was a project being made, and it's been delayed to next year as well. I think that also means that probably the new Forza Horizon game's probably getting delayed too, if I had to guess. But it's not confirmed, so don't take that yet. Big thing, one of the games I think we all kind of criticized, it's a PS5 game that was coming out at $70, was Destruction All-Stars. And then it got delayed, and then it got put on PlayStation Plus. But now when it comes off of PlayStation Plus, it's only going to be a $20 game. So that's a Sony first-party game getting a $50 price cut after, well, I guess it was free. So now it's going to be only $20. So Richard,
that should happen with any free game.
Should, honestly.
I mean, it makes sense because, I mean, I don't know. It's fun like the first 20 minutes, but then it just becomes so much of the same.
However, Now, if you look at it through the like this $20 thing, does it feel like it's worth $20 instead of 70?
I mean, I would say that like this game is their target audience is like the people that enjoy like Fortnite or Rocket League, or if that's your genre, and you find yourself attracted to those games and playing those games a lot, then yeah, you'd pay $20 for it. Never 70, but I think if that's a genre that you really find yourself passionate about, you're sure 20 would be fair. I wouldn't give 20 for it, but
Also, something not in the notes that happened right before we started recording that I saw. The PS4 Ratchet and Clank is going to be free on PlayStation Plus through all of the month of April, which I think is the month before Rift Apart comes out. Oh. So you get a chance to, you have all month to be able to beat Ratchet and Clank. I don't think it's Rift Apart's a sequel, but at least you get a free Ratchet and Clank game out of it, as long as you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber.
See, what's weird is it's okay, but that would go to all PlayStation. Because it's on PlayStation 5. It's part of that whatever they call collection. It, that PS4 Plus collection. Yeah. So.
Well, I actually have something interesting to talk about later with PlayStation Plus when we get to talk about the state of play. But we've got a couple more things to go through. This one I find really interesting. None of us, I don't think any of us still have a base PS4. Michael, do you have a PS4 still?
Slim, yeah.
Slim.
I do too.
Oh, you do? Oh, nice.
Keep all my PlayStations.
Well, good news. You can no longer keep all of Call of Duty, Black Ops, Cold War, and Warzone on a standard 500 gig hard drive because it takes up too much storage.
Wow.
Oh, man. What am I going to do?
I know, right? That's one of my biggest gripes is like, I absolutely hate Warzone, and I never play it. So why can't I uninstall Warzone? They won't let you do it. Like, Warzone is the root game now, and then everything else is just add-ons on top of it. And I wish they would fix that, because I could take off, I think, 100 gigs off of my hard drive just by getting rid of Warzone. And it's so dumb, I hate it so much. Activision, fix your game.
It's a lot of space.
I know. And I've got Modern Warfare and Cold War on my computer, and I think it's almost 300 gigs. And I have the campaigns uninstalled, and I have all of the optional modes uninstalled, except for multiplayer and zombies. That's the only thing I've got. And then, of course, like I said, it forces Warzone on you, and it's still almost 300 gigs.
I think what I have that takes up the most space is Elder Scrolls Online.
That's only 100 gigs, maybe.
Well, I mean, I got all the expansions and stuff, though. So it's huge.
I think after that, the biggest game I've got is Grand Theft Auto 5 on my Xbox, and I think it's 95 gigs. I take it back. Gears of War 5 is 110, and the Master Chief Collection is right up there with it. But I've got the 4K Xbox Series X versions of those games, so they take up more space. And finally, what?
I say we're going to get to a point where cloud gaming is the only feasible option with as large as all these are getting, unless they start doing which this is what I don't understand. I bought a 4 terabyte drive for my PlayStation 4, and I think I spent $130 on it. So why can't I get a 4 terabyte drive for my PlayStation?
You can. You just can't put PS5 games on it because it requires an SSD.
But I mean, why is that? Why did the PS4 not come with that? Well, I mean, yeah, they were more expensive when it was first released, but I don't know. I kind of feel like consoles don't put enough space on there to begin with.
They don't.
It's like they don't, put the mindset of the longevity of this.
Well, with the PS4 though, you can, and even the Xbox One, you can actually buy an internal hard drive and swap it out. So if you found a 4 terabyte hard drive, or I think you can only go up to whatever the max supporting size is. I don't know what it is on those. I know on the only one I know off the top of my head is on the Switch. you can actually put up to a 2 terabyte micro SD card in it, and it'll support it. Anything higher than that, which I don't think they make anything higher than that, but it just won't recognize it. But you can put up to 2 terabytes in that. But that's what I think needs it. Because if you think how small those SSDs are, that's what That's what they need to put in the Switch is an SSD, like a little tiny one, 500 gigs. That's all you need. Like, because Switch games don't take up any storage whatsoever. They need to do one of those.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think what I have in my Switch now. I think I got like 128 gig.
I recently upgraded to a 256 because I kept running out of space. But it was only like $30 for a 256 gig. Like, it's ridiculous how cheap that memory is now. But that leaves me hopeful, though, if we ever get a Switch Pro, like how much space it's going to come with, because I think Nintendo hopefully is beyond the 32 gigs of flash memory. I hope they're beyond that, because holy shit. Like, they're like, hey, here's a Nintendo Switch. It has 32 gigs of memory. By the way, the OS takes up 6 of that. Breath of the Wild takes up 13. So have fun. It's like,
of course.
Oh, God. Also, in our last headline story, the PlayStation VR 2 has officially been confirmed. Woo-hoo. And it's getting new controllers that use DualSense features in it. And awesome. Only has one cable that runs from the headset to the PlayStation instead of 2. And in the notes I put, Mitch, yes!
No, I want to see more on that, because, like, the single cable thing. I still have to have that booklet when I hook up the PSVR, because you got that little black box. It gets plugged into the wall, and the HDMI goes in this port, and then this other HDMI goes in this port, and then that goes back to the headset. And I don't have to deal with that, because I don't leave it plugged up all the time. Because it takes up a whole lot of space, and I don't want anybody to hit it with their foot or kick it around or anything. And it's really a hassle to get that out and get it all hooked up. So when I hear like that one line, that single wire connection, I mean, that's exactly what I want it to be. And that's it.
I guarantee you what it is since the PS5 has that one super speed USB Type-C on the front of it, I bet that's what the cable plugs into. Like, it just plugs into the one on the front.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah. Because it doesn't have a Type-C on the back of it, which makes me think it has to be the one on the front. And USB-C can do data transfer at several gigabytes per second and do 4K video output. So, I mean, it would make sense.
That would be great, man. If I could just zip and that's it.
Yep. I guarantee you that's what it is.
Now,
but I need to look
one
better,
ball
too.
on the front of it, are we going to have 2 balls? Maybe like a sack holding them?
Michael.
Just will flap them around.
So, like something like this, but you've got 2 down here, and it just kind of...
Yeah, exactly.
Wiggles.
Yeah, I would be so glad. Like, that's a day one for me. If they're like, hey...
Dude, like what was this for anyway? Like, why is there a white spongy ball at the end anyway?
So it's...
because the camera that was so shitty, and they had to have the camera have something to lock onto.
Had to look at the...
So the way it works is this. So the way that the Wii remotes work, Nintendo patented it, right? Where like the sensor is on the TV, and then the lights are on the sensor bar and everything, and then like I think the thing on the front of the remote's almost like a camera, but then they flipped it on the PlayStation one, that way they weren't infringing on Nintendo's patents. So the camera was on the TV and then the sensor was on the remote itself. It was like completely backwards on how they did that. So that way they weren't infringing on Nintendo's patents. Silly them. All right, let's get into the big news that's happened today. We have the PlayStation State of Play 2021, the first one. To Richard's point earlier about us gamers being entitled, I personally felt this was kind of a letdown. I wasn't disappointed per se, but like I thought it could have been better. They could have showed off a lot of, hopefully there's more new games coming than what we got today, but there was just a lot of catch up with games that we already knew were coming, and like if they were going to get delayed, they should have just put a press release out saying, hey, this is delayed and not, or whatever. But anyway, just a couple of things, I think it's like, 7 or 8 games total, maybe like maybe like 10. So anything sticks out, let's talk about it. Crash 4, It's About Time, PS5 version coming out March 12th. It's a free upgrade unless you live in Japan, in which case you have to pay 100 yen, which is the equivalent of $1 to upgrade to the next gen version. Stupid. Returnal, which had been delayed, is now coming out April 30th. Richard, is that a day one for you?
No.
I didn't think so. Every time I see that game, it looks more stupid.
It may be good. They've not showcased anything that like really. I don't know. A demo would be good. A demo might sell me on it, but I need more than what they've shown me.
This reminds me of Destiny.
When she goes into that house at like the end of the trailer, like from today, it makes me think of Silent Hills, and I know it's not that at all, but I don't know. No, it's not a day one, and I blame them. I really gamer entitlement. I don't think they've, or maybe that is it. Maybe they have showcased the best of it, and if they have, then I'm just not into it.
Michael, what did you think about Returnal? Is this something you would ever get if you had a PS5?
I didn't play it.
All right. Knockout City, which we talked about last week for the Nintendo Direct. Surprise is also coming to other platforms that they just didn't talk about during the Direct. So that's coming out on May 21st. It's $20, and it's going to support crossplay. So you'll be able to play it on whatever system you want to. There's also a beta currently out if you want to go to their website. I think it's just probably like knockoutcity.com. But you go there and you can sign up to be a beta tester for the game. And I don't know when the beta starts. I don't think they've announced it, but that is something that's going to be coming up pretty soon if you want to try that out. Solar Ash, a new game coming out this year by the developers of Hyper Light Drifter. Did y'all ever play Hyper Light Drifter?
I didn't. I watched the trailer of this. It looks good, but I don't know, because this is not the first game where it looks like your character is constantly in motion. I don't know how much I like that.
I only ever have any issue with Hyper Light Drifter because they were the best character that you could pick in Brawlout, which is just a knockoff Smash Brothers game. But they played just like Link, and it was great. That's the only reason why I know who Hyper Light Drifter is. I wish Steven was here. We could talk more about this. I know Richard said you wanted to bring it up a little bit, but Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, which is I don't know if this is a newer game or not, but it is coming out on PS5 this year. They said that it's their most ambitious Five Nights at Freddy's game yet. Richard?
I think it is. I think it's a new game. But watching the trailer today, it looks like Hello Neighbor. But as I said earlier, I don't know if like all Five Nights at Freddy's play like Hello Neighbor. I got the gist that the first one was really just watching security cameras.
Yeah, pretty much.
This one looks like you're trying to run around and out. I mean, it looks like Hello Neighbor.
The cartoony Outlast with the Hello Neighbor, with a neighbor chasing you. Have you ever played Hello Neighbor?
I have, yeah.
That game is terrifying. That music that plays when he's coming after you, holy shit.
It's wild. Throw shit at you.
Yeah, and then like you get inside your house and sometimes he can grow to like as big as the entire planet. It's just like...
my problem with it is there's these YouTube channels that cater to kids and they play it. Mm-hmm. And of course they skip the cutscenes and stuff like that. But then, I have a little girl and she absolutely loves it. But, underneath it all, there's a very dark ass story. Mm-hmm. That like you've got to try and like censor somehow.
I have a coworker whose 5-year-old son is just really big into that kind of stuff. And again, like it's because of YouTube. Like they say the kids stuff, but they do have all that dark shit in there. And she came in to buy stuff for Christmas, and she wanted to get him a Switch, so she got him a Switch. And then, but all he really wanted was like a figurine of Pennywise from It, like the remake, like the Bill Skarsgård Pennywise. And like she actually ended up recording most of her kids opening their Christmas presents. And he opened the Switch, like, oh, that's cool. And then, like, set it down and then, like, got the Pennywise figurine and sat there and just played with it for, like, forever. And I was like, what is wrong with this generation of kids? Like, man, if I got a Switch for Christmas, I'd be ecstatic.
Pennywise. I think, yeah, I've seen some of the videos that Maddie watches. You know, I don't just let her watch anything. And it's, I don't know, they've kind of made almost a joke out of it. So, you know, I think kids don't really see it for what it actually is, you know, in relation to the movie. It's just that stupid clown on their YouTube channels. It's the butt of a lot of jokes.
Well, and they just make their kids sit down and watch it, like all of them. And then they'll
Yeah,
they'll never find Penny.
We'll show you.
Yeah. All right, next we got Deathloop, which is a game it's owned by Bethesda, so it's owned by Microsoft, but it's coming out on PS5 and PC as a timed exclusive, coming out May 21st. And I still, after seeing trailer after trailer for this game, I still can't get into it. I don't think it looks fun. Maybe it's just the art style.
It's not day one, but man, that's a definite buy for me.
Support your Xbox family.
That that game's sexy. It is. It really is.
I don't know. I do want to give it a shot though, or maybe it'll come to Game Pass at some point, because it's made by Arcane Studios, which has done Dishonored. So, and Dishonored games in the past have been really good. So maybe I just need to shut up and play it. But Michael, would you get this for PC?
Maybe on sale. It wouldn't be a day one for me either, but yeah.
Game Pass. This next one though, I didn't actually catch on to about all this stuff until after it was over, but I don't know if it's Sifu or Saifu, but it's a kung fu game, which I haven't seen a lot of kung fu games in my time.
Oh,
recently.
It's seafood. It's usually at like Red Lobster or Captain D.
I do think it's seafood.
Seafood?
I think it's seafood.
But it's a kung fu game, but every time that you get beaten, you come back revived, but you're an older version of yourself and you're more skilled. So does that mean that the game goes from hard mode to boohoo baby mode the more times you get your ass beat? Or like, is it just a mechanic that like you're supposed to get older? Like, can you just go in the first fight and just get your shit rocked like 4 times and then you're just in God mode? Like,
there's got to be some kind of a balance or a trade-off there, though.
Yeah, you're just slow and you have like no health.
Like, you're more skilled, but you're also weaker because you're old. I don't know. I know I'm definitely gonna get it. It's badass.
I don't know if I'd pay $70 for it, but
what?
Oh, I don't know. I just assume if it's the PlayStation game, it's going to be $70 now.
No, I mean maybe. I got like a PlayStation Network game vibe off of it, like, you know, maybe $20 or $30 at most.
I'd say at minimum it's 40.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, I could be wrong on that, but
well,
I'm not going to pay 70. We'll put it that way. I said it was a definite purchase. It's not a definite purchase at 70.
Well, what's a similar game? Like, you don't die, but like classic Xbox game. I forget the title of it, but you get older as the game progresses.
Fable.
Yeah. There we go.
I don't know if that's right.
Do you?
Yeah,
you start out as a kid, but you don't like get old.
Well, maybe not old, but like you do grow up a bit.
I don't know. If you're a good character, your hair turns white. But that's supposed to be like,
I don't know. Maybe the graphics were that shitty. They were like, okay, white hair, you're old.
Well,
I don't know.
It's supposed to be like, it's supposed to symbolize your purity.
Oh, okay. Purity or puberty?
I can't find. I was trying to see if I could find a price on Seafood, but I don't see it. So I guess they haven't announced a price for it yet.
But I mean, either way, the take is really interesting. I would play it. I'm not like I'm on base with you. I'm not sure I would spend 70 on it.
I'm not going to spend 70 on it, but I do want it.
It looks like a remastered, like, original Yakuza, like the way that the art style looks. I thought it was Yakuza at first, whenever they first started showing it off. I was like, oh, that's a cool art style. And then it was like, oh, no, it's not. No, so I just played on my phone for the rest of the trailer.
Yeah. Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah. Speaking of playing on my phone, I played on my phone through this entire trailer I've seen 4 times now. Oddworld Soulstorm. They keep progressively showing like the same footage of this game over and over and over again. But the good news, though, is that it's about to come out in about a month and a half, which means I won't have to see it anymore. It's coming out on April 6th. And the good news is, and this is something I was going to bring up earlier, is that if you are a PlayStation Plus member on PS5, you get this game for free on day one. Not PS4, which is where it's also coming out at, but only on PS5 you get the free version. Which I think is a kind of a kick in the pants to the people who can't find a PS5. Like, oh, if you're lucky enough to get one, or you paid $1,200 for this, we're gonna reconcile you
I found
for
one.
Yeah. we're gonna reconcile you by making where you don't have to pay $60 for this game. But if you weren't able to find the PS5, well, you owe us $60.
Well, I hear some people just leave them in their cars.
Ouch.
You didn't have to do it like that. You didn't have to do it like that. I'm over it. I'm not even trying to find one right now.
Sorry, I'll call an ambulance. Wii U.
I think that's actually great. Of course, I'm on the receiving end, so of course I would. But I love Oddworld. I was willing to pay money for this, so I'm glad that I don't have to.
Well, good, because there's another game I feel like you shouldn't have to pay money for, but you're going to anyway. But we'll get to that after we. No.
Oh, is it with Diablo 2 remaster?
No.
I shouldn't have to because I already own it.
Yeah. But before we get to it, though, Kena Bridge of Spirits, the most beautiful next-gen game I've ever seen in my entire life. It looks like a mixture of Pixar and something else, but it looks like Pixar, and it looks great. And it's coming out in August. That's a day. I think that's also coming out on PC too, and if it is, I'm getting it. Unless I have a PS5 by then, in which case I'll get it there. But that game just looks remarkable. Cannot wait. But yeah, that's August 24th. Another one I was talking about is the Final Fantasy Remake Intergrade, which is...
What? Why should you not have to pay for that? I'm confused.
Because they're giving you like a half-ass story and charging you $30 for it.
How do you know that? How do you know it's a half-ass story?
No, listen, no.
Yuffie in it, or Yuffie.
Yeah, it's a whole side story. Like, why aren't they working on the main game?
Well, you don't know that they aren't.
That's
Here,
stupid.
Here, this is look. In the original Final Fantasy VII, you could play through and complete that entire game without finding Yuffie. Is it Yuffie or Yuffie?
Apparently it's Yuffie.
Is it Yuffie? Okay, I've always said Yuffie. I don't know where Yuffie came from. You could play through that entire game and never find her. You have to go to some little continent and keep driving around, initiating battles until you come across her. That's the only way to find her. So the fact that this is coming in as like this little side thing makes perfect sense to me.
I guess it makes more sense because I've never played Final Fantasy VII. So
yeah, there are certain characters that you can get for your party in Final Fantasy VII that are completely missable. And she is one of them, so it makes sense that this is kind of like a little side thing, and completely worth $30. Drop in the bucket. That $30 is going to go towards development of the next half of, or not even really next half. So I don't even know how.
Next chunk.
Next portion, yeah.
That's the thing that kills me about. That's the thing that kills me about the way that they're doing this. So Final Fantasy VII Remake came out in 2019, or was that a 2020 game? Either way, it comes out.
Can't recall.
Now they're re-releasing Part 1 on PS5 the same day this comes out, which is... I didn't put it in the notes. It's like in August, I think.
Is it August?
think it was 6/20. Hang on, I'm pulling it up.
I thought I thought it was June.
Oh, I can't dates. Yeah, that sounds like June.
I think it was June.
But anyway, so they're doing that. They're bringing out the first half of it in June 10th. So it comes out. If you already own it, cool, you can upgrade for free. If you don't own it, though, you get the PS5 version. You got to pay $60 for that. Then you got to pay $30 more for that Yuffie expansion. So now you're at $90, right? Then by like probably 2025, 2026, they're going to drop Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. And they're going to charge probably $70 for it. So now you're at what, $160. And then they can't put Part 3 out fast enough that they're going to probably release it on the PlayStation 6. And then they're going to ask you to pay. If you were a new player, you'd have to pay to move all of that up again. And then they're going to drop Part 3. And if that's not the last one and they do another DLC, you see where I'm going with this? Like it's a money pit.
For Vincent.
The never-ending game.
Yeah, but I think what you're leaving out though is that that first installment was $60, but it was embellished out into like a 50 to 60 hour RPG. I mean, it had the length and depth of a full-fledged title instead of just a portion of a title. So, if you're basing it off like hours played and as far as that extent goes, then I mean you're paying for a $60 title and you're getting a $60 title. And I think anybody that has it or that wants it already has it. I can't think of anybody because I mean that's a huge following. I think if you were waiting on the Final Fantasy VII Remake, then you already have it. So it's going to be a free upgrade for your PS5 if and when you get one. And then the $30 is just, I mean, hell, it's $30. $30 for Yuffie.
I will say that I think I did read somewhere that, so let me backtrack a little bit on what I said because I got kind of carried away. But I think Final Fantasy VII Remake, the first part, I think it's gone down to, I think, $20 now. $20 or $30. So if you haven't gotten it, that is kind of a nice entry point because you pay $30 for that and $30 for the inner grade because that way you only have to pay $60 for it up front. All right. We're going to end up running a little bit over. We're probably not going to have enough time to talk about the TV or the video game movies and TVs, but we'll do that next week because I'm sure there'll be something else that comes out. So we'll probably have this big chunk next week where we'll have nothing really to talk about. So we're going to talk about all of the video game movies and TV shows that have been announced in the past month or so, like the Mortal Kombat movie, then what was it, a Twisted Metal TV show, Borderlands movie, the Halo TV show, Last of Us. We'll talk about all that next week because we're probably going to spend a little bit of time talking about this. Also this week was BlizzCon 2021. I know this is a next-gen video game console podcast, but I don't know if you guys are big into World of Warcraft, but there was some World of Warcraft stuff, but we don't have to spend a lot of time talking about that if that's not something y'all really care about. But the first thing they announced was the Blizzard Arcade Collection, which features the Lost Vikings, Blackthorn, and Rock and Roll Racing with their classic and enhanced forms. Have y'all played any of these, or are you planning on picking this up?
I'm gonna get it.
It's out now.
I know, but I'm just there's other things that are prioritized, but yeah, especially I mean, if nothing else for Blackthorn, man, I love Blackthorn.
I have no experience with any of these games. Didn't know they existed.
No, Blackthorn's awesome. You walk around with a shotgun killing orcs.
Nice.
Oh wow.
All right, Michael, are you getting Blackthorn Shadow Legends?
Only if Jack Black is in it.
Oh, sign me up. I'd be all over it.
You play a dude with long black hair,
right?
And a leather jacket and a shotgun.
So you play as Negan from The Walking Dead.
The game would be so different if you played as Jack Black, though. It'd be awesome.
All right.
Jack Blackthorn.
Hey, there you go.
Yes.
Right there, man.
Yes.
All right. So are either one of you World of Warcraft players? Dabblers?
No.
Or...
No.
Okay.
I gave it a shot and I didn't like it.
I'm on the fringe of it. Like I never invested in it because I'm like, wow, monthly subscription that I don't really have time for. No thanks.
Yeah, that's like my biggest turnoff. It's like, oh yeah, you got to pay $60 for WoW, and then you got to pay us $15 a month. And I was like, no, this is terrible.
Yeah,
like,
I don't. I was a huge Warcraft fan, but not World of Warcraft.
Yeah. Well, anyway, World of Warcraft Shadowlands is getting a new partial expansion called the Chains of Domination, which is a new area with new quests and a new 10 boss raid and 8 boss mega dungeon. If you're a WoW player, that makes sense to you. Hi Ed and Ty, if you're listening to this, that's all you guys play. And then WoW Classic is getting a Burning Crusade expansion, which I feel like the Burning Crusade is something that's already happened. That name sounds familiar to me. Anyway, and that's getting new changes and improvements that are making WoW Classic better. Yada, yada, yada. The big stuff for us is Diablo news. Because we're all, I think, good big Diablo players. We'll start with the smaller stuff. Diablo 4 is still in the oven. It's still in hell. It's still cooking. They revealed the new rogue class, which is kind of like a jack of all trades kind of character. Pretty good at like everything. No idea when Diablo 4 is coming out. However, Diablo 2 Resurrected, which is a remaster of Diablo 2, is coming out this year. It's coming out on all major platforms, so PC, Switch, Xbox, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, with cross progression, which I think is literally the biggest thing of this entire announcement, that the game's going to have cross progression. I've never personally owned Diablo. Like I'm big in Diablo 3. Never owned it in multiple systems. But I've got friends or one friend in particular who owns it on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. Because he just gets so bored that he just ends up going to buy Diablo again. So now, instead of having to restart his saves over, he can just carry his saves everywhere with him. But kind of already know where Richard's going to talk about Diablo 2. But Michael, do you have anything? Like, are you excited about Diablo 2? Are you going to pick it up?
I think it's like on my wish list, but I mean, it's just news I wasn't expecting. But I mean, Diablo's always been a really good game.
Yeah. All right, Richard, tell us about your thoughts of Diablo 2 since you already own the original Diablo.
I think in, like, for instance, in your case, Mitch, it's probably a really good thing. However, in my case, I have Diablo 2 for PC with the can't remember what the expansion was called. There was a Throne of Baal or something like that. I can't remember. I've got all that. There's not enough in the remaster that would make me want to revisit, to go back to spend what I'm assuming is probably $60.
It's 40.
Is it 40?
Yeah.
Or you can buy 3 Mario games that don't really have an HD remaster, but they're together for $50.
Man, I mean, for 40, it's starting to make a little bit of sense now.
My biggest thing is, if you remember whenever Skyrim had get re-released with that, whatever they called it, with the Xbox One PS4 version of Skyrim, on PC, they let you get that free pack where it like upgraded the game for you for free if you already owned it on Steam. Yeah. So I wonder, even if it's like a smaller price that you have to pay, if they would ever consider doing something like that. We're like, oh, you already own Diablo 2? We're here. Give us $20 and you get access to the remastered collection instead. Because the big thing with the game is that they didn't change anything like mechanically. It's just better visuals and the better cutscenes and stuff. And kind of like in the Halo Master Chief Collection, you can hit a button and you can swap back and forth between the old graphics and the new graphics. So theoretically, all you'd have to do is just download those high-resolution textures and flip it back and forth if you wanted to.
For 40, I may be on board. I may be on board with that. I thought it was like $60. So.
Got him. Hook, line, and stinker on this one. I think it would be fun because something else I learned is that so with Diablo 3, you can play up to 4 players locally, which that's cool. But on this one, it doesn't support local multiplayer, but it supports up to 8-player online, which I'm pretty sure Diablo 3 only supported 4-player online. So that's kind of nice that you can do that. So I don't know how many players Diablo 2 originally allowed you to play with online. But we could have like
I played it solo.
A whole Next Gen Newsweek Diablo party. Like, that's a thing. We could do that.
Thing.
I don't know. It'd probably be so boring. Like, you just see us just rolling around the map, killing stuff. Like, oh, we're going to go kill that spider over there or something. But it's possible. We could do it.
Yeah, you're just throwing me off. The Diablo 4, the new rogue class revealed, that's not a new class.
Yeah,
I just started playing. Well, no, I mean, they may be selling it like that, but I'm replaying the very first Diablo currently, and that's a class in the first one.
Well, it may just be a rogue class, but it operates completely different.
In the first Diablo, you could be a warrior, a rogue, or a sorcerer.
That
was it. That's it.
Oh,
Came out in 1996, Mitch.
No elven masochist.
Are you meaning to tell me that monks didn't exist in 1996?
They did not, man. No.
They didn't find them till 2001.
Wasn't until Tony Shalhoub came along with his quirky detective skills that monks became household names.
Well,
that's good.
That's going to be all of the news for this week. So before we get into games we're playing and wrapping up, I have a trivia question. And it's going to be probably the hardest trivia question. It might be. I don't know.
Blue.
I think it's one of the most difficult trivia questions we've had so far. It was something I was thinking about the other day because of an unrelated topic. But I thought it'd be interesting to try to turn it into a trivia question. Before I begin, though, how familiar are you guys with the Xenoblade / Xenogears games?
I own a game and I haven't opened it.
This is going to be a multiple guess question.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, no.
Other than those 2 characters that are coming to Smash. It's about the extent of my knowledge.
There are 7 games, I believe, in this series of games. They started as the Xenogear, and then it went to Xeno something else, and then it went to Xenoblade Chronicles, which the most recent ones have been on the Wii and the Switch. But this week's trivia question, what platform did the Xenogears / Xenoblade series originate on? Was it the Nintendo 64, the PlayStation 1, the Sega Saturn, or the Neo Geo?
Ooh.
Michael.
Sega Saturn.
Richard.
I was going to say Sega Saturn, but then the way you said Neo Geo gave me pause. But I'm going to go with Sega Saturn.
Well, you both guessed valiantly, but you're both wrong.
It's the PS1, isn't it?
It is the PS. It is a PS1.
I was like, it had to be one of those.
Yeah, it's. I thought it was interesting because the series started on PlayStation, and it was actually made by Squaresoft.
Yeah.
And then it ended up transferring over to Monolith Soft, which is now a Nintendo second-party publisher. So they've owned the rights for the past like 4 or 5 games of it, but the series started on PS1, which I thought was really interesting. So the score still stands with Michael at 5, Richard at 4, and Steven at 2. I wish Steven could have been here. I don't know what's going on with him. I guess he's a sleepy boy.
Probably sleepy.
Probably sleepy boy. All right. We're doing pretty good on time. But we're going to go ahead and quickly talk about games we're playing. And then we'll just do it this way so we can wrap up easy. Go ahead and talk about what games you're playing, and then just plug your social medias afterwards. We'll just do it all in once. Richard, let's start with you.
I am currently playing Diablo 1
Oh.
on the PC. And what else? I was hitting No Man's Sky really, really hard. And then I've gotten to a point where I'm comfortable, so I've stepped a little bit away. So I'm finishing up Immortals. And I'm playing Diablo 1. And you can find me at Board Game Breakdown on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Check me out on Mondays. I got a new thing called Miniature Monday, where I showcase a different painted miniature from a board game. We've looked at Marvel United and Batman Gotham City Chronicles so far. The Back to the Future video is up, and by the time you're listening to this, the second episode of that Back to the Future series will be up. So make sure you check me out at Board Game Breakdown on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram.
All right. Michael?
This week I've been playing the stock market a little bit. Not stock market. I didn't get it on the rise, but GameStop went up from like 44 to 150 today.
Really?
So yeah, if y'all were part of that train, would have been a nice little ride.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I pretty much broke even today. I'm okay with that. I'm also hopping between a little bit of Raid Shadow Legends still, unfortunately, and Marvel Strike Force on mobile. And then for PC, for whatever reason, the launcher never updates right, so I deleted and reinstalled Genshin Impact, and I deleted and reinstalled Phantasy Star Online 2. So hopefully get to play a little bit more of those. Genshin Impact has like 2 or 3 events going on right now, and they're all really interesting. And they're about to, I guess, debut Zal pretty soon, too. The arrow spear user that everybody's kind of hyped about. So,
Nice.
And then for social media, eventually I will stop having empty promises and update stalledaction.com. But you can find me on there, Open Box Tech Deals and Unsolicited Nudes on Facebook. Unsolicited News is still going pretty strong. Over 200 members and counting.
Nice.
So many nudes. So little time.
All right, and if you want to find me on the internet, Twitter and Twitch at Meechflow. You guys find me on Instagram too, but I don't post there very often. And as far as games I've been playing a lot of Black Ops Cold War. All my friends started getting back into it. There's a new open world zombies mode that came out today, so now it's no longer about round based, it's objective based. It's been pretty fun. Wore that game out today and wore it out past couple days I've been off. But other than that, I talked before about how I've been playing Majora's Mask 3D but in 4K, and now I have Twilight Princess in 4K. But the GameCube version, not the Wii U version, because the GameCube version apparently looks better according to the guy who made the mod for it. So have that, but I haven't streamed it yet because I'm trying to configure it to make it work well on my PC. But other than that, that's all I got. So thank you so much for watching. All the social media links that we've all said, they're in the description of the videos, so make sure you check those out if you want to follow us everywhere. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on Twitter at NGNW Podcast, and check us if you prefer if you're an audio listener. Don't forget we also do these on YouTube, and if you prefer to only listen to our beautiful voices without seeing our faces, you can go to anchor.fm, which is kind of like the official website, I guess, sort of. It's like the official page for the podcast. It's anchor.fm/NGNW Podcast. But that's all I got, so we'll see you next week. But Michael, do you have a special ad for us tonight?
Yeah, this week's podcast is brought to you by an optical illusion background. You can't tell if it's a fairy, a dragon, or a horde of waving dildos. You have a great night.
You know, it's weird though. I remember doing a fishing tournament on Animal Crossing back when I first got it. And I don't think there's been one since. At least not that I've noticed.
Another, we're fishing tournaments in Animal Crossing.
Or maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it was a dream I had, or maybe a different game. But I swear there was a fishing tournament on Animal Crossing.
I thought there was a couple.
Was there? See, I played one, but then I don't know. I don't know how regular it is, or because I remember bait. You can dig up those little mussels or whatever on the beach to make bait,
Yeah.
and that's
That's
like
why.
you gotta have a lot of bait to be successful. And I was like, I'm gonna get a whole bunch of bait for when this happens again, and then it never happened again.
Did you ever click repeatedly on the beach?
I haven't. Something happened.
Yeah, clickbait.
Quick.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes.
All right, you got it.